Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to Harry Potter Month. And today for you guys is another Harry Potter review. Well, we're not really tackling the Harry Potter movies just yet. We're almost there. We're on the cusp. But today is the second and final Fantastic Beasts film so far. Fantastic Beasts 3 is apparently in the making, and that's kind of got some troubled development. But we have Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, or Grindelwald, or however the fudge you say it. Now, I saw this movie back when it came out in, 2018, and I remember enjoying it. You know, it was before I had my glasses, so it was kind of like a big freaking blur on the big screen. But I just watched it with my sound bar and the flat screen and my glasses, so I saw it the ultimate viewing experience, I guess. And I don't trust critics ever, and I don't really trust people in terms of movie reviews. I like to think, whatever I say goes, which is what you guys should too. I know you're watching me review it, but you know what I mean. And I was kind of looking at it, I'm like, oh, I like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It was a great movie. And the bar is really high, for these futures. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, it should be fine, And I look online, of course, everyone says, oh, it's a franchise killer. It's the franchise killer. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me just be clear. Saying Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, being a friggin' franchise killer is like saying water kills you when you drink it. It's stupid. So I ask those people, are you even a Harry Potter fan? Are you even a Wizarding World fan? You know what I mean? You don't have to like this movie, but to say it destroys the franchise and it just completely wrecks everything, that's just not true. You know what I mean? J.K. Rowling herself wrote the script, which is, again, a really good script, just like the first movie. Nothing crazy. It's not bad. It's, it's good. And, I think she knows what she's doing. David Yates, of course, is directing for, like, the millionth time. And he does a good job, too. A lot of people are saying, oh, there's a lot of weird shots of, really close-up shots of, Lita's face or Newt's face or, Theseus's face. And that's done deliberately. It's very unique. It's done very early on in the film, and it really isn't used ever again. And that's just kind of showing that, that the person is, say, it's hard to explain. But Newt is looking at Lita, right? And the camera's really close up on Lita's face as she's talking, and then it goes really close into Newt's face, That is literally showing the audience, first person, we are now Newt, for that one frame. We're that close, because that's where Newt is, It's storytelling, directing, and it's really, really good. It doesn't detract anything. Now, start off with the good. I think that this is, again, good script. I think this is the best CGI out of any of the Wizarding World films. Those black cat demon things that protect the Ministry, those looked a bit weird. I think the big kind of like kaleidoscope looking things that rise and then they fall out of the ground, I think that when they sink into the ground, it looks a little wonky. Just kind of like there's no like attachment point. It just drops into the ground. But the CGI is really good. This is, again, the best CGI we've seen out of the entire Wizarding World franchise. So that was great. Directing, great. As usual, David Yates is amazing. J.K. Rowling's good script. I enjoyed the new characters. I think every actor and actress was really good in this. No bad acting at all. I think that, the stuff that happens is really good as well. All the unique... It's kind of like The Last Jedi. You have these different viewpoints, and you have these different, kind of perspectives, kind of coming together at one, which is really neat. I can see how this movie can get confusing, and I can see how this movie can be a little bit too much, Like Deathly Hallows Part 1 was a lot of exposition, and when I review it in a few days here, in a week or whatever, I will, tell you guys. But for the most part, this movie, I think, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is very much a direct film. You look at it and you're like, okay, this is what's happening, and it happens, Crimes of Grindelwald, there's so many plot points going on. You have one plot point happening, and then you have another one coming from that one, turning on its head, turning the other one on its head, and then they all kind of come together in the end. And it's brilliant filmmaking because of how it all makes sense in the end. But when you're watching it, you're like, who's Credence Barebone, Oh, he's a Dumbledore. Who's Lita? Why the fudge is Lita having this, ridiculous boggart dream of a floating thing? It turns out to be a baby, And there's all this... these plot points coming together and, building this franchise, because there's going to be a few more of these movies, which I'm fine with. But this is not a franchise-killing disaster. This is a great film. My only issue, like I said, it is a little bit confusing if you're not paying attention. There's a lot of talking in this movie. There really isn't a whole lot of action. There's one or two action scenes, But, you know, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them really was a more lighthearted film. And that movie had some pretty effed up scenes. But basically, it was more direct. You know, I mean, this movie, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of exposition, there's a lot of things you need to know, a lot of, you know, just characters returning and, you know, different plot points being revealed. There's a lot to take in here. And that's my only negative, is that this movie feels too big for its own good. Yes, it's 134 minutes, but, you know, the second movie out of the franchise feels like it could be the penultimate. You know what I mean? And I get it. They're trying to build the world out before Harry Potter and yada yada. You know, it works. It's just the way of doing it, not to me. I'm not saying I was confused, but to, you know, some other person that isn't me, and it's, you know, this guy over here or this girl over there, I think that they could be confused. You know what I mean? If they're not super duper into this franchise and they're just casually watching it, I think that this could be the drop-off, and they'll be like, I don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? This makes no sense. Who's this? Who's that? Why is that happening? You know what I mean? He's a Dumbledore. What's his baby doing in a yacht? You know, it's a whole thing. So, that's my only negative. Again, one of them. CGI can be a little weird with the cats and those things that drop in the Ministry, and it's very, very, you know, it's like school. You know, it's basically like you're learning about the Civil War for the first time. It's like you're absorbing all this information and you're not sure you're getting it. You know what I mean? But in the end, hopefully, you've done your research, you paid attention, it all should fit, just like a school assignment. So I think that going forward, this franchise is kind of in the dumpster at the moment. I can't wait for the future. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. That's my thing. But you know, I love the fact that Lita's in this. I love the fact that we find out, you know, before Bellatrix and all that, you know, how Lita, you know, deals with things. You know, the whole boat fiasco, and, you know, the switching of the babies, and Dumbledore is, you know, Credence is a Dumbledore, and Grindelwald's in this. I think there's a lot of good things in this movie that sets up for future films, and it also really builds the stakes. You know, Dumbledore can't fight Grindelwald because of a blood pact they made. Now, I'm going to be clear. J.K. Rowling is a fantastic writer and a fantastic visionary, but she can be a little strange sometimes. A little Lestrange sometimes. And some of the choices that she makes regarding her character and their motivations, I disagree with. Now, I try not to piss people off on YouTube because people get really offended nowadays. It's 2020. But let me just say that Dumbledore and Grindelwald are fantastic actors and fantastic characters, and their motives are really, really good. However, let's just say that their sexualities lie different to mine. I'm old-fashioned that way. So that, you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just don't agree with that choice that they make. You know what I'm saying? So to see that kind of, it was a bit cringy for me. It's like, oh, of course, that's why J.K. Rowling, you know, and, you know, it is what it is. I guess it's the future. You got to write that in there. But, you know, for me, it works only because of the plot. You know, if they were that way just to be that way, that would be even worse. But the fact that it actually works into the story, you know, that's why they can't fight each other, because they were more than brothers. As much as I not like that idea, I accept it because it works within the plot. So hopefully I can say that without getting weird or making YouTube mad or making anyone mad, but that's my stance on that. J.K. Rowling can be a little bit forward-thinking sometimes in a way where I'm more old-fashioned. But still, going forward with that, I think that, you know, the stakes are really high with Dumbledore and Grindelwald, how they, you know, they're trying to... Dumbledore knows that he's as powerful as him, and he's the only one that can fight him, but they swore to not fight each other, because basically they're best buddies. So it's kind of hard to... You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and some of this stuff can be a little bit crazy, but I think that the third, fourth, fifth, I think there's going to be 6 or 5 of these movies. It works. You know, the fact that Credence, I can't remember his first freaking name, for God knows. It's a weird name. Whatever, something Dumbledore. Now he knows who he is, so he's really pissed and he's really powerful. Now Grindelwald is kind of a smooth talker, you know, so he kind of gets, you know, everyone on his side. I think there's one of the strongest things in this movie is actually Queenie Goldstein's character arc. A lot of people didn't understand it when it first came out, and some people still don't, and it's really easy as this. She can read minds, and she wants to be with Jacob, but having a no-mage or a muggle and a witch or wizard marry, you know, Queenie is a witch, Jacob is a no-mage or a muggle, it's kind of effed up, it's kind of forbidden during the 20s of this, I think it was 27 in this movie, and Grindelwald's like, look, I don't want to hurt the no-mages and the muggles, I want them to not hurt us. So for them to not hurt us, we need to hurt some of them, you know. And it doesn't make, he's the bad guy, you know, it shouldn't make sense. But Queenie's like, look, I want to marry Jacob. Jacob wants to marry me. So she kind of has a weird way of going about this. In Queenie's mind, the only way to save Jacob is to essentially turn bad to turn good, you know. But she's doing that. She's kind of destroying her relationship in the process. She doesn't even know it. So there's a lot of complex theming going on. Again, this is why I think the Harry Potter Wizarding World franchise is not for children. First of all, it's far too violent. And second of all, there's too many themes going on. Hell, even some adults can't even understand it, you know. So if you didn't understand that, that's what's happening. You know, that's why she turned evil. Lots of great character arcs, lots of great motivations. Again, I might not agree with what J.K. Rowling has written sometimes regarding characters, but I do think that most of the characters' motives work. Again, only negatives, CGI a little bit, and then, you know, I think that this film, like I said, it's a butt ton of information to take in, but I had a fun time with it. I think it's maybe a little, like, here's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and here's Crimes of Grindelwald. It's like a hair away, you know what I mean? Fantastic Beasts 1 is just too good, and 2 is good, just not as good, you know what I mean? But it's not a bad film by any means. It's certainly not a franchise killer. If anything, watching this film right now for the second time, I forgot most of what happened in this movie, so rewatching it, I'm getting more excited for 3, you know? And yes, Johnny Depp as Grindelwald is not going to be there because of Amber Heard. We all understand what's happening there. I'm pissed about it, you're pissed about it, everyone's pissed about it. But, you know, we can't do anything about that, so we're kind of screwed. So who knows, you know, the future's kind of weary for Fantastic Beasts. You know, lots of stuff could happen. Who knows what's going to happen, you know, so it's a lot of crazy stuff in the air. But again, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald is a great, underrated film by all means. I think this is the most underrated Wizarding World film ever. It does not deserve its hate at all. I can understand if you were confused. It is a lot to take in. But if you pay attention and you know your stuff, you'll know it's really not that confusing. And again, hopefully I can... You know, if you have any questions, ask me in the comments. But still, I thought it was a great film. You know, a few hiccups here or there, but Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, I'm going to give it an A-. I really enjoyed it, you know what I mean? The CGI is like a hair off, and then you know, the fact that the bulk of the negativity with that rating comes from, there's a lot to take in, and, you know, I understood it, but some people might not. So, you know, to have a movie be universally understood is hard, but, you know, I think really J.K. and David Yates, they kind of confused a lot of people, so hopefully, again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Again, I love this movie. I don't understand the hate. It's like Kingsman 2, The Last Jedi, Cars 2, the Lego Ninjago movie, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. All those movies, I think, are absolutely perfect films, and they're just misunderstood, and this is one of them, you know what I mean? It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Yeah, the CGI is a little weird, but I think it's a great film, and if you want to rewatch it, give it a second chance. I think you might enjoy it. Again, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. I love the franchise to death. But, you know, unlike Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Ninjago, I don't know every tiny little detail, but, you know, I'm sure most of the fans loved it. I don't know why critics didn't love it. I don't care. I'm not going to look that up. But again, I enjoyed it. A-, and I can't wait for Fantastic Beasts 3. Whenever that comes out, whatever the fudge they're doing with that, just make it work and make it good. But, you know, I can't wait. And next will be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We're going to be tackling the Harry Potter films. And, yeah, I'm all done with Fantastic Beasts. They were great films. I can't wait for more. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.